Welcome to this video. My name is Abby and I am here to help you learn to consciously create your life through practical spirituality. And today we're going to be talking about the age-old classic of self-abandonment. Not just what it is, but more importantly, how you can start to identify it so that you cannot do it. Because if you're trying to manifest something in your life, self-abandonment is not the way to get there. So if you can start becoming aware of this, you can start taking back your power and start using that power to create the life you want. Now, before we jump into the video and this wonderful topic, I want to let you know if you want to work with me one-on-one, I am still offering my donation-based payment system, meaning that it's a $30 minimum payment. And if that's what you got right now, great. If you want to leave more, you can do so in the tip option. And either way, I look forward to helping you to look and see what your specific situation is, what blocks you're having, most importantly, how you can remove those to get the thing and the experience you want and you deserve in this life. So if you're interested in that, any of that resonates, the info is in the description box. As long as that link is working, it's still available. And make sure that you leave your Skype ID in that note section of the payment portal. So with that said, let's get into this video. So we're jumping back in. We're with our friend, my partner in crime, really, my co-pilot, my whiteboard. So yeah, self-abandonment. What does this mean? Why should you care right now, right? You're like, yeah, whatever. I don't self-abandonment. I'm not looking to self-love. I'm not looking to, develop my sense of self. I want to manifest this shit. Like, let's get to that part, right? I hear you. And I can let you know that this actually is the way to do it, okay? So I tried very hard for a long time to basically work around this topic in my life. And I can give you a lot of different examples of all the times I've abandoned myself and what that looks like and why it was detrimental. So really, as we're getting started here, and you might be like, I don't know about this shit. Is this bullshit? Sounds like bullshit. I can assure you that it's not bullshit, that the more you become aware of when you're doing this in your life, the more you'll actually get more clear on getting to where you're whatever experience you're wanting, right? If it's about romantic relationship, that secure connection, if it's about an amount of money, if it's about a job, this applies to all of it, okay? So if you realize that manifestation isn't you starting to think these thoughts and then boom, poof, there it is, right in your hand or right in your experience. Manifestation means to reveal to your hands, to your tangible world. Literally, look up the etymology of the word. That's what it means, to reveal what you're thinking inside. You want to talk about Neville Goddard, right? He says that your level of consciousness, your level of awareness of yourself, your outside world is an expression of that, right? You can look at Dr. Joe Dispenza. How you think, how you act, and how you feel is what creates your reality. So if you're wanting to change your reality, you wanted to change you because that's what's getting reflected, right? We're not changing you because you're bad or not worth it or anything like that. We're changing that because you're causing that effect because of something that's happened in your life where you're thinking that this is the way to get there. So I hope you can see by now what I'm talking about, why this is pivotal, because this is the first step. This is your relationship with yourself. How you relate to yourself is how you relate to everybody, how everybody else relates to you. If you do not have love for yourself, you won't be able to receive love from other people. I really fought hard on that one. I was like, no, I am going to find somebody who loves me so much. It's going to love me so that I'll get my cup filled and I'll love me, or I'll like me more. I'll see myself more valuable when they see me as more valuable. That literally started with self-abandonment. So anytime I was in that dynamic that I was hoping that they would love me past my lack of connection with myself, that started with self-abandonment, and it did not end in connection. Anything that starts in self-abandonment does not end in connection. If it's that way now, it doesn't mean that it can't shift in the future when you start learning about this and connect to yourself. Again, realize it's the connection to yourself, which is the opposite of self-abandonment. That is how you are basically in the place to receive the connection, the love, the amount of money, the job experience, the nice car, the nice house, all of that. That is how you're like, okay, I'm ready to receive it. Now, if you're not with you, who's there to receive it? Nobody. if you were wondering. So I won't leave you hanging. So here we go. Okay. So I broke this down and I'm going to do my best. And I do want to say a special thank you to Courtney for helping me understand that this was an area that I could help explain a little bit better to help you guys see. Because in a lot of my videos, I talk about self-abandonment. But she helped me see that, oh, okay, maybe I haven't talked enough about what it looks like and how to become aware of it in your own life so you can make that connection. So thank you, Courtney. So here we go. Oh, God. Baby blues, you know, it's doing the best it can. But here we go. So self-abandonment. First, let's look at why we do it. We're looking to feel whole and complete, meaning that we don't feel that we are enough, and we're going to get that from something or somebody outside of ourselves. So we come into it lacking, that idea that we lack, that who we are is not good enough unless we blank, 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 blank. Have that car, have that amount of money, have that connection with the other person, right? So it's important to understand that if a child, you, right? Me, anybody. If you were not validated, if you were not giving validation that who you are, for who you are, and you basically then you started looking to do something. So you looked for validation on what you could do. So you're also feeling that that validation is not who you are. And just as it is naturally, who you are is not enough, that you needed to seek something outside of you to get the validation. So that misreasoning, because it was in your early on environment, led you to believe that you're not whole and you're not complete without that external thing. That's not true. And that's what I want you to start understanding, that if you continue to base your life off the old model of your environment being inadequate, no offense or no blaming to your caretakers. They did the best they could. And, thank you for life. Thank you for keeping you physically safe. And emotionally, that wasn't an environment in which you got what you needed. So you perceive that you were not whole and complete unless you did and got something outside of you, right? Seeking that validation. So what is it? It's any time that you're looking outside of yourself for a connection, of validation, or approval. That you don't feel that you need to leave yourself, right? Who you are is not good enough. So you're looking for connection, validation, or approval. Okay, it's starting to maybe, and I'll give personal examples of this in a moment, and how basically it comes into your life, what it looks like. It looks like jealousy, and jealousy, remember, it is anytime you're afraid you're going to be abandoned, right? And so also too in this, if you don't feel you're whole and complete on your own, you're afraid that you're not going to get what you need. So you're looking to connect, to get validation, to get approval so that you feel secure, okay? And jealousy, it doesn't have anything to do with a potential another person in terms of a three-party system. It has to do with anytime you're afraid of being abandoned, you feel anxious, distrusting, suspicious, or envious. And envy is about comparison. So anytime you're afraid someone's going to leave you, you're going to be alone, and you feel any one of those four things, that's jealousy. Anytime you're in jealousy, it's self-abandonment. And again, I'll get into what it looks like in real time in just a moment. I'm just trying to give you an overview to try to layer in this, because a lot of people don't talk about this, specifically in manifestation, which is astounding to me, because it is basically where we start getting off course and where we can get in cycles of frustration and not seeing the thing we're wanting. So it can come, and it looks like it can come through, and we can experience through jealousy. Maybe if you want the approval of others, right, your reputation, and overgiving. So for specifics, in my situation, I was wanting in my past a relationship, because I felt like with a relationship, life would be more meaningful, because I didn't feel whole and complete. I didn't feel good enough on my own. I wanted a relationship with somebody, so I got validation and connection. But when I would look for that so much outside of me, and it wasn't a reflection of me, right? It was, I don't have it unless this outside thing gives it to me. So I was looking for validation and connection for me mostly. Again, it can be approval as well, but for me, I wanted to feel like I was good enough, and then I wanted that connection. What I was willing to do is overgive 100%. I was willing to leave what was good for me. So for instance, if I had projects going on, or if I was working on a goal for something, or maybe if I need, responsibilities I had in my life, if somebody told me back in the day, and I mean, we're talking about recent history, thank God not with my partnership now, which because I worked on this, I got a new dynamic, which created an entirely different experience in my life. But previous to that, I would, oh, what's that? Oh, you have free time? You want to meet up with me? Yeah, of course, I'll meet up with you. Yeah, yeah, I got you. Oh, okay. You're not feeling good? Okay, I can, yeah, I'll drop everything that I'm doing right now and I'll go and do XYZ. So I was over giving at the sake of myself. I wasn't looking to see, oh yeah, I can show up for you this way because it brings me joy and I love to give because I'm good with me and I'm not doing this for validation and to connect with you out of desperation because I'm not connected to myself. I'm doing this because I'm connected to myself. I know what's good for me and this brings me more life to connect this way. I don't need your validation. I validate myself. I don't need your approval. And since I'm already connected to myself, me connecting to you is simply a very natural expression of that. Now, anytime you're afraid you're going to be abandoned and, if it's, you're waiting for that text or you're waiting for that call. Oh my gosh, if they don't call me, then XYZ. Who's with you? If you're not secure, if you don't feel safe unless they text, unless they call, unless this person gives you attention, right? Approval, validation. So you can start to see how you can plug in the different outside experiences because you don't feel whole and complete. You're looking for connection, validation, and approval because you cannot and you're not aware that you can give them to yourself right now. And that comes through when you want somebody to think a certain way of you, right? And again, what's difficult is that this can look so many different ways to so many different people, but this is the root of what's going on. And why is that detrimental? Again, why the hell should you care about this? You want to manifest, right? You don't have time for this bullshit. Well, if the world your outside world is an expression of you or a mirror, a reflection of you, and you're leaving yourself because you don't feel like you have these things on your own, you need that outside thing to show you that you're good enough, to show you that you have connection. What are you going to get a reflection of if you continue to repeat this pattern? You're going to get a reflection of not feeling validated because you don't validate you. You're going to get a reflection of the abandonment that you do in order to try to seek a connection, right? So anytime, another thing that actually can come up when you can see that it's self-abandonment, anytime you're really, really harsh on yourself or somebody says something, you're like, I feel so bad. Oh God, and you're feeling low and you're giving those people's opinions of you and the way they see you more important than your own voice. Anytime you're not listening to your own inner intuitive, wisdom, and you ignore that for another person, you hush those red flags. No, you know what? I know that they said that they do that, and then they actually ended up not doing that, and they're not really in their integrity, and I can't really trust their word, but it's okay. It's okay. I got this. It's fine. No. It's not really hurting. Like, it doesn't hurt that bad. And I mean, I know it's a value for people to tell the truth and be in their integrity, but it's not a big deal. I can overlook it. I can ignore myself. I can abandon what's good and my values and what I stand for so that I could get connection, validation, or approval, right? As you start to see, oh shoot, okay, when I'm hoping that this person texts because I'm like, oh God, please, it's like you're really, really thirsty and they have a glass. You're like, oh God, I just need a little bit of water, please. Oh shit, I abandoned. Okay, I'm in jealousy. I'm suspicious, anxious, distrusting, or envious. Okay, if I abandon me, I can't actually be in a connection that I want because I left me. Okay, I got to do duty. I got to be there and do something for me that brings me more life. If you have a creative outlet, if you have a hobby, going and connecting with a friend, realizing that a signal of jealousy and caring about what others think so that you feel a certain way, those are all forms of self-abandonment. Anytime you abandon yourself, you're going to see a reflection of that in your outside world. Because that's what you're worth? No. Because that's what you deserve? No. Because that's just mirroring a connection you have with yourself. Why? Because you were taught when you were younger in that early on experience to abandon yourself to keep a connection, to abandon yourself to get a certain amount of acknowledgement or recognition when you were younger. That was a survival technique that worked when you were younger because you were powerless in that environment, right? You couldn't go off and do it on your own. So what you got to do is start saying, okay, when do I feel powerless, that I don't have another choice, that I have to neglect what I feel, to not listen to myself, and to leave myself in order, right? Also, too, if somebody hasn't, they ghost you, they haven't texted you in 2-3 weeks or whatever, and then they text you and you're like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, hey, how are you? You're not acknowledging the fact that you don't feel safe, you don't feel respected, that consistent, reliable communication is important to you, and you value that to feel safe and secure in a relationship, even if it's not romantic. Not using your voice and speaking up for yourself is a form of self-neglect, self-abandonment. The more you start to realize when you self-abandon, the more you start to pull your energy back to yourself, stay with yourself, the more you'll start making empowering decisions for you as a whole, and realizing that, okay, if I stay with me, whoa, I don't feel as lonely, because when you leave yourself to keep a connection, you will most likely feel lonelier, more alone in a connection where you self-abandon, because you're not with yourself. And you left you to connect with this person, so no one's actually connected to you. The more you start realizing, if I want a connection, I have to stay with myself. The people who also want that are going to show up in my life in that way, echoing, mirroring my connection with myself. And as I learn what makes me feel safe and secure in relationships and in myself, I can communicate that with others. Meow. But as you start to communicate that and learn more about yourself, you'll learn what you're needing and how you can ask for that, how you can meet those needs in yourself, and also to ask for it from other people. They're literally showing you, hey, I value you, I really want to connect with you, and oh, this is how to do it, here I am, to show you that, right? Those are then this confirming experiences to let you know that you don't have to abandon yourself to be in a connection. Staying with yourself, understanding when you disconnect, when you self-abandon, is the first step. I will have more videos on this because I know it's absolute. This changed my life. When I started realizing when I would self-abandon, making a new choice, and in the moment it felt terrible. Just to be very clear, I failed and failed and failed and failed in my attempts early on, before I started getting my grounding, right? And before I started getting really clear. I can tell you for years it took me to learn these things. So if you're starting to go out and try it out and it's not going great and just nailing it right away, that's okay. That is learning. As you can start to look at those experiences and transmute them into wisdom and learn from them, then you have even better shot on the next one. It took me years to learn this, and numerous times to start to get a hold of it. And when I did, my entire life changed, with money, with relationships, my ability to show up in the world, my ability to connect and change every relationship I have in my life, platonic, with my family, with my partner. Everything changed when I changed relationship with myself. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, click that button below, that like button. If you haven't done so already, join this community. We would love to have you. Hit that subscribe. And if you found value in this, I really think you're going to like this one as well. I personally picked it if you like this video. I love y'all, and I'll see you in the next one.